Sorry? Hands will be tired by the end. So look at the distance in your stance to where you landed, where this was comfortable, to where your foot is now. Think about trying to keep that distance, because this is your planted. This is where you're the strongest. You seal that gap in because you're not thinking about that distance, dragging that foot. Now your center of gravity is so much higher. Somebody pops you a good one, you're going to be off balance, and then you got to take that full step back. The whole point of coming in on a person is to set yourself up for that. So always watch on that footwork. So switch it around, face me. Watch on your footwork, and when you're coming in, it's basically where you're going to land. And that's the basis of even fencing. When they actually parents forward, their feet never leave that distance. So you can put bands on there, you can do whatever it is, tape measure that has a perfect distance. Now you know if you have a little bit in between there, that's not a good distance. Now all of a sudden you're off balance. You're too wide, well, that just looks silly once again, now you're off balance. All right, so everybody pop into their fighting stance. Okay, and forward, and forward, and forward, and forward, and forward. Perfect. Look at your feet. See how it feels. Is it where you would normally land? The shift forward. Narrow your stance just a little bit. Bring this foot. Kind of see how the tips of the toes kind of match a little bit. Good. There you go. So think about it like that. Okay, right? So like I said, your tactical stance, you'll work on your tactical stance, and that's good for that. When we pop that, okay, so it's still the same thing. You want to just keep that distance, but now instead of this being your lead foot, you're coming back. You're just going to push off, right? Keeping their hands up, whatever it is. The fencers, when they do that, typically their swords are going to be out here. So just take your few steps forward, and step, and step. All right, now slide back, and slide back, and slide back. Good. Okay. Step forward. Step forward. Step forward. Okay. Slide back. There you go. Slide back. Good. All right. Bounce that off a little bit. So this is the idea of this stance. So your tactical stance, whether you're stick fighting, boxing, fencing, from here, this is the distance that we want. So that is a good distance for me, not so much for him. And I got a longer wingspan than him. So in order for him to seal that distance, that's where he's taking that step in. So if I'm coming in, because I'm coming down for a power punch or coming up, your first reaction is, take that slide back. You set that distance now, right? So that's that footwork. So if you come in on me, same thing. You're gonna match it without going overboard, because now we disengaged. So at that point in time, then you have to reset. You waste a lot of energy and a lot of time. So, excuse me, back to your stance. So you take forward for me. Step forward. So there you go. So we've kept our distance where I feel safe. Unfortunately, he's still out of the distance, but I've maintained my safe distance. From here, it's all of just reading your opponent. Okay? So now we're going to work on our little bit of lateral. So easy. Sure. So your lateral stuff. So here we are. He knows he has to set up on me. He knows that he can't come into my distance. So he's going to have to take those steps across. And this is where more of that defensive tactic. So guys got you pinned up in that corner, and you're still in that stance, and you're kind of doing your protection. The only way to get out of that is to side step out or side pass out. So same thing, if you're here, the last thing I want to do is to cross my feet, right? Never in the history of any tactical sport would you ever want to cross your stance. It's fundamentally not going to work for you because it puts you at a very serious disadvantage. Same thing if you're coming, so he's going to side sweep out of my way. Exactly. So he's sweeping, he's kept that foot, so it's just, he's bringing that around. And then from there, you can just do the dance. You can go all the way around. You can use those ropes to shimmy across. That's why a lot of the boxers, when they get into it, use those ropes to their advantage because they can just slide with the ropes. They know exactly where that's going from there. So partner up. From here, okay? So set a distance, that's the distance you want to maintain. Okay, so my side of the room, we're gonna take that step forward. Rod's side of the room, you're gonna take that step back. Okay? And step. Yeah. That's okay. Are you in your traditional stance? Yep. So it doesn't, it doesn't. So this is your lead, so you're gonna be orthodox fight. So your hands are up, and that's your jab, and then your cross comes from your power side. So if I take that step forward, exactly, just like that. Okay, come forward. Okay, back in your stance. My side of the room, take a step forward. My side of the room, take a step forward. My side, take a step forward. My side, take a step forward. Okay, so 1 second. So I'm not picking on you fellas. So they've sealed the gap monumentally. So this is dangerous right here, right? Like you guys are ready to engage. So this, if you're trying to get on him offensively, great. But if you're defensively trying to get out, he's really pushed into that. So this is a perfect opportunity for you to lateral out. Here's the ropes. You have nowhere else to go. He's a big man, he's coming at you. You're not ready to engage. So this is an opportunity for you to lateral out. Exactly. Just that's perfect, right? So you're taking that and you're sweeping that foot off to that side. So you're not crossing them, because every time you move that foot, this foot steadies up. And see how the distance still stays the same for me. So that's another thing to really work.
Can you demonstrate what you mean by crossing the legs? A lot of us
Oh yeah, so if you were to, you're gonna lateral out of this. So I'm going against the ropes, she's coming at me. My tactical disadvantage is to cross. So that's where that fluid motion comes in, to be able to turn that foot and still not ever really picking that blue foot up. The only time I'll probably pick that up is if I'm coming in hot and heavy, but then once again, your opponent's going to start to really read your tails, and if I'm starting coming like that, you're probably going to go with the full on bang. So once again, get into your stance with your partner.
Okay, one more question too. When you're in different leads like this, would you want your big toes on the inside or outside of each other? Or do you really consider that a matter, or do you reference that way? You don't reference that way at all?
I don't.
So, okay, if it's not big toe, then would you reference foot and foot, or outside or inside their foot, their lead?
Typically, I guess I've always come in on the inside,
Yeah.
So that I have that drop.
Absolutely.
So
Okay.
from my tactical advantage, I always want my strength
Yeah.
to that inside. If I'm letting you go to that inside, that's probably that would be my defensive, because then I can parry out of you a lot quicker than if I'm here and I've given you a couple to parry out of that. I run the risk of stepping over your foot, tripping over your foot. So setting your footwork, it's so imperative to know where your feet are, and then to really just work it. Watch in the mirror, just do your exercises in the mirror. Hours and hours and hours of it. Throw that punch, come back. Throw that punch, come back. And you don't seal that gap. Okay, so team up with your partner. We're at the offensive objective. So they have nowhere to go. You seal that gap. Now they need to lateral out of that. So there you go, shift. And then I want you to shift with, shift with, shift with. Good. Now, the ones that were on that side of the room, I want you mirror side. Okay, so whichever way, so I'm going to shift, and shift that, and shift that. So watch your stances too. You don't want to come, if I shift, and I've shifted, and now all of a sudden you're picking that back foot, and crossing that to catch up to me, battles, because once I get the idea that's what's happening, probably going to give you a pop, because if I come this side, you cross your legs, you probably drop that arm. So there's a prime opportunity to start to pick those little points up. Right? Alright, shake it up. Any questions about footwork? It's like I say, it's very, everything lies here. This is where all your power comes from. It's from that stance. From here, you can do so much damage. From here, not a lot of damage. It's so limiting. And from out here, it's not going to be, once again, you can't lock and load that body. Defensively, maybe you can do a little bit more protection, but then you still can't get out, because then you have to take that extra step to pull yourself back up, right? It's also how you set yourself up to come in for that effective offensive delivery. All right, and number 2, same thing. That is your power blow. It's on your right hand. Okay. The one thing that was always taught to me, and it'll stick with me, is practice doesn't make perfect. Perfect practice makes perfect. So if I see you and I throw that jab out, and you're not bringing that jab back to your face, what does this do? Leaves you wide open. Exactly. Right? So every time you come in and bang on a bag, every time you're working with your partners, it doesn't matter. Training is good, but we train how we would fight. The same way we want to, okay? So for the sake of this drill, hands up. You can put mitts on if you want. It's just gonna be light taps. It's like you say, we're not actually getting into it. So mirror side of the room, your hands are up. My side of the room, all you're doing is throwing ones. So from every time I say I throw a 1, we throw 1. So I want everybody nice in your stance.
Throw. You're throwing.
Oh, I see. I see.
I wanted fun shot.
High five?
High five. What's going on?
Okay. So hands up. Get in your fighting stance, nice and flat. And 1. Okay. And 1. And 1. Like I say, make sure everything comes right back to your face. And 1. There you go. Yeah, you guys can stay flat on your feet there. So, and 1. Yeah. Nice and upright. And 1. So bounce on your toes. And then 1. There you go. So good knee bend. You got a lot of power come from those hips. So if Sarah was to be that opponent, when you send that out, you now, because your weight is a little bit lower, you're more flexible in your hips and your knees, you can carry off of that a lot faster. Okay? And 1. Good. And 1. Good. And 1. Good. You're the hands. So just in your fighting stance. So land into it. There you go. Hands up by your face. So tight. So he's having to come and fall forward. So this is where learning how that distance, learning your jab distance is important. So if you're too far back, like me and him, if I'm sitting right back here, like even my jab ain't gonna do that, his jab ain't gonna do anything, right? Exactly. You're gonna have to come dancing in. So go ahead. No,
So you have to make that forward as we jab?
no. Not for the sake of this drill. Okay. Not for the sake of this drill. So if your hands are up, all I want is you used to delivering that jab and coming right back in that defensive stance. Okay? Good. So relax those knees. So bounce up on your toes. Find your stance. Here. There you go. Perfect. And then think about that fluidity that you have. When you start to bounce forward. So now you're starting to telescope.
Yeah.
Your punch, you start to come forward and then lock back. That distance. So you may need to see a lot of that distance. So you need to take a slight step forward. There you go. Good.
But none of this.
No, never. So think about it. If you start doing that to me and I start to take that apart, all of a sudden you're gonna jump in, you're dropping that left, well then I'm just gonna come with it straight. Now the momentum of your body coming in, the momentum of like this coming to you.
Not gonna work.
No,
It's not gonna work.
it can hurt a little
Not
bit
gonna be
more.
happy.
Yeah. Good. Excellent. Everybody's comfortable with their ones? Are they comfortable with their stances? Okay. Practice your ones a couple more times. Oh, okay.
So try to break that stance.
You know, if it has to, you gotta go to that southpaw stance. Do the southpaw stance, right? So hands up from your wrist. So from here, your right all of a sudden becomes your jab, right? So you're still bouncing on your toes. You're gonna land into that position. This is all your money's from here, and instead of that left coming across, you just gotta send that right across, right? And it's weird when an orthodox fighter tries to fight southpaw.
It is
gross.
It is, but in the sense of what we do for so much of our
It's just
But now,
it's
40 years ago.
See how his left come right back to his feet every time. Through that, he came back. It's awesome. Because now all of a sudden, he's going to fall off the punch. But this is what you got that gap. You release that.
Hey Matt, can you go trade positions with Dionysus?
With who?
With Dionysus? Blue shirt, blue shirt. Can you just swap them off and just send them over here?
Two is that power punch. So this is where you set your distance with that jab. You set that jab out a couple times. So now I'm going to take that, not all of a sudden, because, just standing still for me. So I've set that. Here's my distance. I know I can achieve that because my right hand is the same length as my left. So this is where throwing those big power punches down the middle. You're going to aim for open torso, same thing. That's why this stance is so important, is that little bit, that 2-inch gap change. Now as I throw that power, and I'm coming all the way through him, that 2 inches is so monumental. There's so much more power behind that. So just for the sake of this, you set the distance, you can have a couple jabs, come straight across, and then bring that right back to your face. Okay, so once again, it's not this, because there's no power behind that. Might as well be a jab. When you come across, think of it as your legs turning, the back foot's up, there's a weight on here, which you've literally twisted and brought 260 pounds across with your force, or in whatever the case is.
So you're looking for 2 inches of penetration?
Sure, we'll call it that. All I want you, and then reset. And you don't have to come back super fast. Think of it as that perfect practice. I want you guys to get good at twisting, hitting that, driving through with those legs. This is a fully extended punch. Can't go any more than this. And then coming back and reset and see what the distance with your legs are. See your body position and see how that felt. Okay, clear as mud?
Yeah.
All right. So from here, you're still looking down the way. Exactly, that foot comes up. When your foot twists the edge, is when you come back. That's how your foot should be. So from here, punch all the way through, and bring it back and reset. Yeah. Excellent. Good. Okay. 2. Okay. Same thing. Just want you, there you go. Drop it a little bit. Don't be afraid to bend that front knee. As you come across, that knee should be bent. This foot comes up. And then you're going to reset. And all that power goes from those foot. Even if you're doing for a man of my size, and you're aiming for that head, same thing. I'm going to come up, and I'm still going to keep that left hand up. Power still coming. I'm just getting taller than like a center mass.
What is that all?
No, that's where the jab comes in. So being a shorter wingspan, double jab, distracting blow. Now we know that this jab isn't extended all the way. And now I have all that power from here to follow through. Jab is your very distracting, sets you up. That's why he's such a brawler, but he never jabbed. Muhammad Ali, beautiful jab. He'd sit there and jab you all day long. And it was just annoying. It's like getting mosquitoes out of your face, but eventually you're just going to get sick of it. You drop your hands, or all of a sudden he's now this far away from you, and there's a ton of force coming in. Yeah.
So Matt, the question again was if your arm length difference is there, how do you bridge that gap? And Ken, what were you saying again?
So it's that jab that sets you up for that. So we know that our jabs are out here, but to jab and seal that little bit and bring that 2 inches in. Now leaves this crook here, which indicates to me I'm ready for a power punch, which comes all the way across. Yep, so if your hands are up. So this is, my jab's out here. I'm jabbing in. All of a sudden, without you knowing it, because your face is here trying to cover up for my jab, I've now created this power distance. So that right hand now comes across. Whether I'm coming low, whether I'm coming high, doesn't matter. Fundamentally, it's the same. It's just now that how much can make a world of difference. Right? If I aim out here, although it's powerful to hit with the right, not as powerful. That inch, 2 inch step in, all that extra power originates from here, from yourselves. And you're still extended on your jabs, but then that means also your right power punch is very extended. So how much more power do you think you have? You took that inch, where now the power's not out here, it's here, push all the way through the fat. Right? And once again, it really does
So a little step.
But that foot, right, that little 1-inch toe drag, brings the world between 60 pounds of force and 160 pounds together, as an example. A lot of practice to get it. Why don't we all just take a quick water break if you got it?
Like I jab and come back and I bounce. Is that? Do you want to do that or
No, not in Western style. I don't know what style of fighting you're used to. Maybe being always that motion and having that bounce aids to the advantage of your tactical style. Boxing, no, because then I'm just going to start to learn to read you. Because you're going to down with bounce, right? So if you throw that jab, and all of a sudden you're bouncing with it, I know you're coming in because I'm going to see that bounce. You're going to follow a bounce with a bounce and a punch. And I know that all I have to do is ring your bell on the side, and then from there, you're going to withdraw. So, your tactical fighting, I never want to take away from, but in Western style traditional, I don't have fluid. The only thing that should really move is your head and your body. Ready? This, I don't know if it would age you. My open palm I can't grab his palm down. The palm, and that's not allowed. So I'm only going to teach what I know how to teach, and that's going to be from here. If he throws that punch, it's just going to be a knockdown, and then as soon as you knock it down, come back up. Or if he throws that punch, you can, and your hands aren't going to be open, you're going to be in gloves, but for the sake of simulation, you can block out. So if your stick fighting is you can palm a man's hand, I want you to try to focus on not palming in this technique, as well as for if you're going to throw that punch out laterally, you're going to throw that punch out laterally, that's fine, but then start to really gear in your head, like from here, what's my next step? Right? I've thrown his weight across his body, and you have these big 12-ounce, up to 16-ounce sparring gloves. If you throw that across that body, he's now off balance because you've just a little bit of a pop, and you can throw a distracting, you can pull yourself back, you can pull yourself in, and then throw those big punches, right? So get back into your pairs. I'm going to set your distance. It's your defensive, get you out of dodge stuff. It's your offensive, puts you into tactical position. So if you throw your jab at me, my hands are up, I can knock it down, but then you also got to think of where's that punch going. So because he hasn't got the distance on me, and even if we were at perfect distance where he had that at me, I'm still running that risk that if I parry that down into me, although it's not a very hard punch, that jab, exactly. You see how he tactically took advantage of that in that instant. He set himself up and was locked and loaded to come across. So your parries are so important that if you parry, you got to put yourself back up into that defensive position. Otherwise, you're going to get that elbow. Okay? So for your jabs, I just want you to learn how to parry down. So hands are up, jab comes in, parry down, bring that fist, your back up. You can do a parry with your right. I'll show you the parry with the right. Come in, parry with your right. Parry with your right. Parry with your right. But then if you're parrying with that right, that's your power, that's a very offensive punch. Think about the time it takes you to cock, load, and then deliver that punch. So it's easier to parry with that left, in my opinion. Parry in, parrying down, and then I have that direct access with that power punch to come in because we know we've engaged. We're absolutely engaged at this point in time. Okay? So with your partners, nice and slow.
He would parry down.
So it's like it'll throw you into center. Yeah, it throws you into center. Which, yeah, because then we're middle, we're coming in, we're big ass game. You're so he throws it down, and all of a sudden I parry it down, which I would throw that parry into me into a punch. One, he's going to get a point 90% of the time, but I also have the advantage of coming across here because, like I say, at this point in time, if I'm parrying, we're tactically engaged. So, once again, if you want to parry with the right and you're parrying across his body, which is fine for that punch, parry across your body, your hand is tied up here, so you have nothing here. Your hand, albeit as fast as you can, still has to come back and lock low to deliver a punch. So, whatever you're most comfortable with, I'd rather take a little bit of meat to give a whole lot of meat. It's just my stance, my foot. Okay? Yep. Okay, so yeah, you're just not moving forward, right? And it's just the jab. Okay, it's just the jab. Okay? So from here, if I knock you down with the right, that's fine. It's gonna go. I'm throwing it across his body, but as I was showing over there, so if he's strong, and he is, he throws that, I can carry it across my body, because he's a little shorter, I have a tap, but he's your height, okay? This hand's got to come across this, which is not precise. This hand has to reload and then deliver that punch. He's probably a lot smarter and faster than able to take a step back and bring that hand up. So that's where that left to left parry, take a little bit, slap it down. Right? So from here, you're just going to throw that parry down.
Then it's a fast one too, or you're going to try to block it with the same
So if he's going to throw 1-2, you're going to keep, but you've left yourself exposed. Deliver a little bit. Well, you're going to have to play with the corner. I wish I had an answer. I'll take a little bit of it in order to do the whole lot.
God's answer is always yes.
Get a little bit of it. Yeah.
There's no easy answer, just everybody.
Palm, but then just try to keep those knuckles close so that if you're going to actually go up, and you're bringing that punch down, because that's what you're most used to, and you're open palm tactical fighting, that's fine, but then just keep yourself re-lock and loaded. Palm it, lock and load. You can palm with your right, but then, once again, he throws that punch, I palm with a parry, I can't really deliver an effective punch here. To bring that hand back and then deliver it exactly. He's fast enough to know, oh shit, I left myself exposed. Muscle memory says, bring that hand right back. So for me, to parry, if I'm going to parry a left, I'm going to parry down with my left. From here. Right? It's just going to be knocked. And it's literally knocked down. You're just going to literally sit there and knock it down because for your punch, a parry, there's that delivery, right? Because at that point in time, if I'm going to parry a punch and I don't have the ability to move myself out of position, we're engaged. And that means that we are going to go punch for punch. So if I parry down from here, that means you're within my attack distance and I'm within your attack distance. I'll parry down, my hands comes up a lot faster than yours because all my did was knock it down with big fluffy gloves. I can go here, this hand, although it can effectively come, I still have some protection here. Right? So whatever you most feel comfortable with. If your idea is to come and you like the idea of palming because you've now set him off course, because tactically this is what you used to, by all means, don't untrain yourself to protect yourself. Right? Like get used to that idea of taking that step back. Because at that point in time, I would assume that if you've parried away from him and you've pushed his body across, that's so you can create a bit more gap and do more of a verbal de-escalation technique, right?
Yeah, right. We do that all the time.
Yeah. You like to throw across with your right. Unless you're, okay. You like to come because of the palm. Right? So I want you just to throw a punch. Now, without, just parry with your pocket. So here, so just throw a punch at me. So that's a parry with a left. You're just going to simply knock it down. Right? See how fast that can be? And all of a sudden, now you've left her open or your opponent open to come in with a very quick overhand right. Because that hand is no longer up here, and it takes a lot longer for me to, or you to reset than it does for me to bring my hand back after going from here to there. Right? I'm literally dropping that elbow. So, like
I'm using the outside block.
I know.
Or the,
Like a crossbody block?
or just like the outside. Would you do that?
No, that was, if I'm using my right, I'll knock it off and I'll cross her body, so she throws that. I'll throw that across, but I'm still not going to never going to go backhanded like that. That throws me off balance. I wouldn't feel comfortable with the idea of I'll throw her to the inside of herself or I'll throw her down. Now, keep in mind, if she's strong, she throws that punch. If I parry down, that punch is probably still going to come through and land on some real estate, right? You're going to eat a little bit of meat, but I'd rather give that extra punch back and make them second guess what it is you're doing. At that point in time, we're engaged. If we're this close and we're doing parries now, in order to protect ourselves, and we're literally just in this stance. We're engaged. There's going to be some punches thrown and landed. It sucks. Part of fighting, right? So go ahead, guys. Good job. I find it very, very difficult to know and how to teach to parry a power punch. It's feasible, but once again, you can't palm them. So if you throw your right at me, so your power, I can still knock you down. That throws you off. And even if I knock you down here, and say we were thinking about, well, we're going to bang out from here, there's only one go. And yeah, he's got the right idea, but now you've crossed your arms across your body. Now all it takes for me to side pass you, and then this is open, this is open, this is open. So it doesn't matter your strength to your side pass, right? So you never want to throw across the body. So if he throws that again, and I've parried down, and I've knocked that down just that split second, I have that, unless he does that, which is brilliant. But I'm also going to take your power right in the chest, or worst case scenario, right in my stomach. And it knocks the gas out of you when somebody hits you in the stomach. I'm sure we all know that, right? So if you throw that power and it comes across, and I throw my power punch down, that's fine. Hopefully I can take a little bit of meat. And then this from here, I got one tactic. I got a jab. I can throw a jab at you, make you back up, throw a jab, and I can back up. Right? It's not something I practiced a lot. I just practice not to get hit. So forgive me on this. I'll let you guys decide how you want to parry down your right, your cross, your power punch, whether you want to take a little bit of meat, whether you want to practice more of a palm to the external side, your lateral side, or if you're going to take it to that medial side where you're pushing it down to your center mass chest or your upper abdominals. Okay? So just team up again, get fluid with it. Okay, I'll throw left.
We would do like that.
Oh, okay, so a little bit of palm, a sweep, and then
Yeah, we call it
a
a double,
bronze.
a double.
Okay,
So it's just like
okay.
a boom and bang, right?
So what if I was to throw my power? Yeah, the same kind of concept when I'm throwing my power, you're still parrying down and popping my arm back up because that's for that jab. You sweep and you come in. That's good. So think of it as a quick sweep. Exactly. And then from there you have your sweep. Instead of sweeping it down and coming in, you pop down, back, and engage. Same kind of concept, just so now we're skipping that step of a sweep, we're adding in the step of bringing it back. Exactly.
Yeah. Just trying to tie it with.
Yeah, so for me, if he throws that right at me, I'm always gonna palm it, I'm gonna bring that right down into my body. Right? And like I say, I don't try to eat a lot of right hands, but as long as it doesn't hit my face, I can probably absorb big man's punch like him into my chest. Because from here, it takes me a lot less time to reload and fire off than it will for him to bring it up, cock in, set his feet again, and then throw it. Right? But that crossbody sweep that you do, that I saw you do, if that's your traditional style of defense, that's fine because that still leaves him open.
A lot of our stuff would come from the outside. So punch jabs in.
Oh, okay, so more of a
Wind stuff.
okay.
It's here,
Yeah, so think of it as if he throws that punch and you're used to coming to that outside aspect of things. So think of it as just knock him out to that outside. And even at that little bit, you throw as much power at me and I get that. I'm going to be able to outlast that little bit of a thing. Your hands are back, and then that blow. Or whether you like your hooks or you want to focus in on the body. Okay? So, yeah. We knock it down. Just those small way of the glove, and your glove on top of that glove plus the force of your body throws that down. It's distracting. You got to drop the line. So how does it feel for you? You got a really great boxing. In your very traditional, throw that right, and you're blocking that across. You've palmed them, you've crossed that body. That's good. This is still a really good position to be in, other than the aspect of the Western style boxing is you palmed them. But if your idea of coming in, you've thrown it, and you've quickly parried off to that side, you've taken that step, he's off balance because he's up on his toes, power punch, you've crossed body. I have a couple head shots, a couple ideas of body shots. I have a whole lot of real estate to land, whether it's for me to get out and not engage with this individual, or for me to stay engaged with this individual, try to get some points. When you watch YouTube videos that can move their head and move their body with their head, and they can still set up for it, it takes a lot of practice because your eyes are fixing, right? So a ton of practice. So if I'm coming in on this individual and I'm moving my head, it's not just my head that's moving, because that's just on a whip, and as soon as I get hit, it's just gonna whiplash me, probably gonna knock me unconscious. The motion of your bobs actually comes from your torso. So that's what I mean when your lateral warm-ups, like your core is so important, because some of those guys go in and they really hunch over and they move their body, but their head stays really neutral, because if I'm locking eyes with this individual and I'm trying to come in and I'm gonna fight him and I don't want him to hit, me going like this, that's just not, my eyes aren't gonna be able to focus on my target, right? So come in, and then if you're coming in, you're just going to simply, you're going to jig off to that side, right? So come back up to neutral, throw that in, and you see how that stance here, my feet haven't moved, he's well within his distance of hitting me. I know he's within my distance of hitting me because we're in the same weight category, we're probably within an inch of each other's wingspan, but from here, now he's at that disadvantage, right? So I have one of two options. I can kind of follow through with an overhand, I can come in underneath, or I can simply slide out. So whatever you feel most comfortable with. Having the aspect of training your body to move and not be hit literally just comes from hours of mirror work and then getting into a ring and fighting. I can't teach it, you just have to have a bunch of punches thrown at you and learn how to move in and out of that punch, right? So once again, throw your jab, coming in across from here. It's real easy for me to seal in, nice and easy for me to get him in there. It's probably gonna be more of a distracting blow than anything.
That's for you.
Or
for you.
maybe you'll bust a couple ribs, or just bruise him and make him unhappy to engage with you from here on out, which then means tactically you have the advantage.
Can
Okay,
you
so right?
can you do me a favor here before we move forward? You can throw in your hooks, you
can throw in your uppers, and then you can also 1-2 double jab to get out of it, whichever seems more feasible and right in your mind at that very moment, right? Typically, if I'm going to want to not get hit, I'm probably just going to want to disengage with that individual, come out and reset, because at that point in time, he's set up on me, he's engaged, I'm not there yet, or I don't have what I would say is my strategic plan in my brain at this point in time. He might have rushed me, and that's all I've got is to really get out of it. And once again, utilizing your ropes, utilizing your footwork, and utilizing your quick lateral movements is huge. Okay? So just team up with your partner again. Actually switch it up. Choose a new partner.
I'm just like in emotion.
Anticipation.
Everybody's in such a flat foot stance. I really want you to get used to being on those the pads of your feet, the balls of your feet, because that's where your stuff's going to come in. Plant that foot, but that heel never really touches that ground. And then when you come across it, it's only this big, and my head's only this big. Yeah, so your knee is now, when you fade, your knee's locked out. Right? So that just comes from just being bouncing through your foot, which is probably what you do. Exactly. There you go. Right? So when I fight very out of the foot, because I don't have that mobility. So there's a way to do anything. I have to do that moment. So if he throws that left at me, oh, that's okay. Yeah, throw that left. See that just that little bit of a little bit, right? So the knee's still here, the feet are still up, I still have that ability to turn away from him, turn into him, or take a step to engage, take a step to disengage. So throw that left. See how you're just literally just coming to that side. It's not a full on feed back, because if you do that, I'm going to follow over the double jab. Now you're back here, and we're just going to do one hell of a leap right there. Right? So just throw that punch, you're just taking that off to that side. Okay? So play it away. Try it again. Yep, you can punch stance. Good.
Well, your hands.
Nice and slow. Yeah. Excellent. So see how that difference is? When you just, literally just taking that body and you're just allowing that punch to kind of go by you. Right? It's different because it's not the power punch, it's the disrespect. So no matter how many times I throw that at you, you're just going to sit there and you're just going to let me waste a lot of energy. Meanwhile, your hips are going to move and go with that. And you're just going to continue to get out of my way. You're not moving your feet, your stance is still good, your knees aren't locked. So you're not out here.
Actually, not today, just because we're instructing. Thanks, man. Just give us like half hour. Thanks, man.
There you go, a little bit more engaged. So she throws that left, all you're doing from here is dropping that hip. So that exactly, not so much though, because then that throws you a little off, and that torques your torso huge, right? You're engaging a ton of core, I think there's less energy expended. So if I throw a punch at you, so from here, exactly, so you're still really balancing off. I just want you to think, so throw your left at me. So you're just going to just get out, get it. From there, I'm just moving, just that smidge, right? You're not torquing a lot, I'm not coming across my body. Literally just taking that little bit of pressure and allow you to come across. So that's all it is. It's the smallest of motions. Because when you throw that out, I'm here, essentially, I'm walking a little before you, right? Because we're engaged. Or from this aspect, if you throw that punch, I'm here, I'm left there you go, see, you've got good toes, they're both equal. If you drew a line, the toes would be great. From here, it's a lot easier to take and absorb if you will. Any sort of pressure, any sort of force, you're able to work with that. So then if he throws that low at me, that left, from here, I'm literally just taking that in, right? He's coming in, and I'm just going to let that go out. So think of it as if you were to, in your fight, he throws that. Typically you would go, you throw that, and then you're just still going to, see how that, there's a little bit of a dodge out of the way, but now you've palmed him out of the way. So take away the palming aspect, and you're just going to come across. Just like so, right? what style of fighting do you do? Stick fighting or?
Waiting,
Okay, so yeah, if you have that knife, you guys are very used to palming him across the body and pushing him away from yourself. It's exactly like that, except for without the push. So you throw that strike at him,
without stepping.
literally, a knife is pointed like this at me. I'm literally just gonna take that option away from him. And then whether you want to engage, whether you want to disengage, whether you want to lateral, or even from this aspect, like we're showing the guys. So he throws that, and then all of a sudden you come up over top with that power hand. Because you guarantee that if he's throwing that, and you're that close to being able to have to do this, he's within your striking distance for you could probably, and then you can throw all the weight that you have. So think of it as that knife. So when I throw that knife at you, you're literally just going to probably see out. You don't want to expend a lot of energy to get away from me at that point. Take away the aspect of throwing his arm across your body, and just get the other way. You're coming, same thing. You're just the opposite direction. You're allowing that load to just get by you. Okay? I'll borrow you if you don't mind. Excuse me. So he's just going to fight in position. He's going to throw that right hand. The same thing. All I'm doing is allowing it to come by my fist. So think of it as for your guys' stick fighting, to put it into perspective. So he comes in, he throws that, he's got that knife. Your typical reaction would be to what? Push that across his body, whether you're going to disengage from there or re-engage with whatever tactic or technique you have. So then take away the idea of you having the ability to throw the hand across, and just think of it as you're just going to move that body out of his way. So that power hand's coming in, you're just allowing that body to come out. Right? So again, you're just allowing that body. My legs aren't stiff, I'm not back here, I'm not out here. This one's still bent, I still have all the weight on the pad of my foot, not on the heels of my feet. You get on the heels of your feet, to pick that foot up causes a lot of energy to take, as well as you don't have that speed to get out of that. So think of it as, whatever style of fighting you want more pressure on the pads, quick feet, quick toes, right? So again, with the power punch comes in, it's just that little bit of a going across. Okay, came up with your purpose.
Could you do it one more time, please, from the back? Thanks.
So from here, power punch, just coming in across. Okay?
Cool. Can you do a left and a right, so I can catch that from this angle?
1 and 2, next. 1 and 2. Do it again. 1 and 2.
Cool.
And the third, 1 and 2. So that's essentially how they're going to throw a 1-2 combo at you. You've got the speed and the dexterity to be able to 1 and 2 out of the way. I say good. For the sake of this drill, we're just going to throw a nice right at you. So less, yeah, exactly. You're doing a little bit of a hop. So I'm going to learn that towel. Your opponent's going to learn that towel. So I want you nice and loose on that back leg. Same thing. Don't know what style of traditional fighting you're used to. Think of it as everything comes from the hips, right? So if I throw that power in there, perfect. Right? All you did was basically stand up and say, right? Exactly. You just moved that range from here to here. To re-engage, disengage, to re-engage. Yep, you're doing that bounce again, you really accentuate it, which is probably normal for your style of fighting. So just think of it as more. Right? Good. You're not blocking. You're not losing eyes. You're not taking your face off. You're still locked on the movement. You're still anticipating that even though I throw a power, I have another hand to follow up. So now you're anticipating.
That's why it's being shooting.
Oh, good job. Less is more. You're really throwing yourself off balance. So I want you to throw right at me. So see how just that little bit of movement, right? So think of it as in your style of fighting. Would you do that, or would you probably crossbody, leaving your next hand open for a strike? Correct? Okay. So instead of using a hand to parry, I just want you to think of using your body. So I'm going to throw it right at you. Okay? Exactly. Just not less is more. Less is more. Keep your eyes fixed on me. Good. Even less. Even less. Good. So your eyes aren't fixed on me though. You're fixing it on this, which means I still have this. Good. Yep. Very good. Make sure you keep nice fluid on that front foot, okay? So relax, good. So just like you were doing, so I threw this punch, you parried out. What did you do? You took a step to the side, which is very good because at that point in time, I've engaged you, you've taken a step. Now you have the advantage. I'm here, you're here. Exactly. Tons of real estate. So that's how setting up your fight. You're strategically placing things in your mind that if I'm thinking that guy's going to throw that punch, and I'm going to carry out of that, take that side, I have to do something with that to make him not want to get back into my bubble. Right. There you go. So see how you're pushing off? That, I want you to push off of this. Okay? So fix your stance a little bit. There you go. Perfect. Okay? Does it feel good? You feel a little bit?
That probably helps.
Okay?
If you lose that, it's not going to end up, you know,
Good. Yes.
so
You try to feel a little bit more comfortable. So I'll always keep my eyes on you. This does nothing, this does it all. So now you have something to follow up with. Right? So when you throw that punch, doesn't matter which way I'm going to go, whether I carry it down, whether I'm taking a step out, you're never going to want to dislike that eye contact. Because as soon as I start watching your hands, leaves you tactically at an advantage that I don't know what's coming. Because there's no way my mind's fast enough to catch what your mind's trying to think and saying, I got all the advantage. Right? So basically, I'm just going to see it coming at me. I'm going to get the hell out of the way. I'm going to keep my eyes on you. Whatever you do with here, it's up to me in a sense. I'm going to down. I can push off of you. Typically, I'm going to sit there and just get out of the way and wait for you to make that next move. Right? So whether it's you follow up with a crossbody, which we wouldn't want to do, but if that was your means of protecting yourself, well then I see that coming because I'm locked on you. It's going to help you to bob under things, right? Like I say, everything, you want a nice relaxed stance, you want the pads of your feet, you want nice slight bends in your knees, standing and locking out your knees, puts all the weight on your heels. You don't want that. So get used to being on that really nice little pendulum step. Everything is really fluid, then you line into it. So when we do our bob under the rope, just think of it as you're coming in under, coming in under, coming in under, you're coming in under. All right, because we have such a height difference with us, big men to the smaller guys, we'll hold it, we'll let the shorter group go so that you're not having to have a rope up here and just basically walk underneath it. And then vice versa, we can, if you got a group of guys and you guys want to do it, you're able to really kind of come in and then work your footwork back, and you're still learning how to utilize your lead foot, and you're still learning how to utilize your body motions. For the bob, literally it's just that. Man, hands up at all times. Whatever we do, you always want your hands up, always by your face, okay? So you're just coming in on there. You're just coming in on there. You're just coming in, right? I don't want to see this, because then your feet are going to have to be clumsy and oxy. And if you go like this, all it takes is for one good uppercut and it's light out. Lights out, game over. So nice in your stance, nice foot, land into it, take that step on there. Take that step on. Okay? Okay, so I'll hold this side, hands up, left, bob out, right, bob out. Okay, now watch each other's stance. This is where we get to really kind of home in on our stances. Watch each other's stance. Watch if they're really starting to throw that body out. Tell them less, less. Really just getting the idea of just less is more. Coming in, coming out. Coming in, coming out. Okay, just less is more. Watch each other's stance. If you have to take that step in because your right's too far out and it's too extended, fine if you got to take that step out. Play with each other. If you do your left, and now you do the right, we've seen a couple guys do a quick lateral out of that. Play with it a little bit, add a little bit in. We got a little bit more time, right? And I'll just come around and I'll see how everybody's doing. So find your partner, do your rights, your lefts. Like I say, please go slow speed. Nobody's needs to